This is your spoiler warning for 2003's Underworld, the werewolf vampire action horror movie starring Kate Beckinsale, Scott Speedman, and a very young Michael Sheen. You have been warned.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolf bane brooms.
The autumn moon is bright.
The wolf creature! It's out there, isn't it? You've seen it, haven't you?
A strange beast, somewhat resembling a wolf.
I mean, he's not that young.
He's young compared to the stuff that he's doing right now.
Yeah, but so is everyone in that film.
I guess so, but it's very noticeable because I didn't know that Michael Sheen was in Underworld, and I saw him for the very first time, and I was like, whoa, that's like a baby Michael Sheen.
You ever seen him in Promising Young Things?
No.
Now that's a baby Michael Sheen.
I presume it is.
Anyways. Welcome to When the Wolf's Bane Blooms, your podcast for all werewolf and werewolf-adjacent media. I am your amazing host, Sexy Sybil, and I'm here with my bro, Mangy Matt. Say hi, Matt.
Why am I mangy?
You're mangy because it's
Why am
alliteration.
I understand that. We've already had this conversation before.
Why?
I don't want to be mangy.
You're mangy.
Why am I mangy?
Because that's your name. Mangy Matt.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Mangy Matt, I guess. Don't narrow your eyes at me. You get to be sexy Sybil.
We have to have less pauses in this one, I think.
We do need to have less pauses in
editing.
this one. We do that. See, you keep making jokes that I keep doing like visual things on this audio podcast.
Yeah, you keep not yes-anding me, and that's a real shame.
That is true. You called me mangy.
And?
Do you want me to scratch behind my ear for fleas?
That'd be pretty cute.
That get picked up?
It's inappropriate. All right, Matthew. Today we are talking about Underworld. Underworld. I love Underworld. I've seen Underworld many times. This is my third time probably viewing it. I watched it when I was a kid. I have no idea what the age was. I was probably pretty young. But I thought it was fucking rad. And I don't know how you can't think it's fucking rad. It is such a 2003 movie, and it's wonderful, and I'm so excited to hear your opinions. But before we do that, I've got a game, Matthew.
Uh-oh.
This is a game I've been excited about for a crazy amount of time.
Okay.
Crazy. All right, so you ready for this?
I am. I saw you concocting it a little while ago, and
I've got to be able to look at 2 pages at once.
I understand.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the game.
Yeah.
I have gone online and don't look at the back of this. Don't look through the paper. Don't cheat, okay?
I can barely read looking at paper the normal way.
You can't read. You're illiterate. Literacy is funny.
What do you want from Mangy Matt? Literacy?
You are Mangy Matt.
Scholarly behavior?
Oh, Mangy Matt. Stop it. You're gonna give me rabies.
That just, the way you said that just sounds like, oh no, Mangy Matt, don't like bite me. That was weird. That was odd.
That wasn't what I sounded
That's exactly
like.
what
I think
you
you're
sounded
reading
like.
into it the way you want to read into it. And that's fine that you want to fuck me, Matt, but not while we're doing the podcast, okay?
Also not while you are wearing wolf ears.
They're cute wolf ears, though, aren't they?
You pulled them out of nowhere.
I wanted to put them on the pod and to catch your reaction to it, but we had too much setup. I'm wearing wolf ears right now. I bought them at Spirit Halloween, and I went, this would be funny. And I would have bought you another pair, just so you know, but they were too expensive for what I liked.
See, now, because you've bought yourself wolf ears, I feel like I need to one-up you and get, like, the whole mask or something more.
No, you can't. You get ears. Put on a tail. You love tails.
You can't say that and just stare at
You
me
love
afterwards.
werewolf tails.
In what word? No, I actually dislike werewolf
You love
tail.
werewolf tail.
No, we've had this conversation before.
No, read into it. You
Oh.
like werewolf tail.
You're never going to let me live this down.
On topic. Let you live what down? Fucking a werewolf?
Yes!
Okay.
I never said that I actively wanted to. The only time that I've said that on this pod is when you prompted me.
And you
to answer the
responded
question.
happily.
I did, because you asked me a question, and I have a response. It doesn't mean that I want to.
But you did.
Yes, I did have a response.
And you wanted to.
Nuts!
You
Very
responded
untrue.
with enthusiasm.
Very
You could have
untrue.
responded the way I responded.
Because I have an answer, and it's also, like,
Which means you thought about it before.
yes, because it's the least, like, furry werewolf that came to mind. Because I feel
okay.
like the more fur you have in a werewolf, the worse territory you're getting. It's a werewolf regardless. You're in bad territory regardless.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
let me tell you this.
Okay.
We're on the right topic. Because
Yeah.
this game that I have
Oh, no.
is I've gone online and I found the title of Werewolf Smut Stories.
Oh, no.
And I've made up some titles of my own. And you are going to have to guess, is this real or is this fake?
Oh, my God. I need to collect myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, lead on.
So you understand the rules of the game?
Very clearly.
You got to debate. Did this come from my brain or did this come from, I'll tell you, two sources. I looked up stuff on Audible, right? I just typed in werewolf. I looked for the ones that were smut that came up. There's a lot of ones that were smut that came up. Or maybe not even smut, but just had a fun title that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
The other half come from AO3, in which there's a tag on AO3, apparently, of werewolf sex. And so these are things that fell under werewolf sex. Now, these stories might not be all about werewolf sex, but they had them in it. They were tagged. Mm-hmm. All right. First one. You have to respond. Is it real or is it Sybil? The title is His Omega.
His Omega? That's real.
Yeah, that's real. That's
Yeah,
spot
that's
on.
100% real.
I've heard vague, tiny things like there's an Omegaverse, right? I don't know much about it at all.
I unfortunately do. It has been explained to me on numerous accounts. It has been explained to me 3 different times. The second 2 times, or the second and third time, with me during the explanation saying, I know this. I know this. I know this. Please stop explaining it again. And it was just fully explained a second and a third time. All of these in the past 2 years, mind you.
Now I want to know who did it. That's so funny. Who told you?
I'm not throwing them under the bus because 2 of them are our mutual friends.
That's so funny. I'd love to hear them so much. All right, next one. Werewolves don't howl.
That's a Sybil. That's a Sybil title.
That one's real, baby.
That's real?
Why is that the title? Werewolves don't howl? What do you mean?
Werewolves moan.
Werewolves don't howl.
Oh.
They don't.
Yeah, but see, I feel like my lead-in is better of werewolves don't howl, werewolves, and then, like, if it's smut, then, like, a sexy noise, like moan, or, I don't know.
Yeah, I get you.
What's another sexy noise? I feel like nothing else is a sexy noise except for, like, moan. Oh, I guess, like, whimper.
Yeah, I get you. Right.
But, like, that's a very different thing when you're talking about, like, a person whimpering during sex and, like, a wolf whimpering during sex. One of those is just, like,
We'll see if that shows up in any of the titles. It doesn't, but it'd be good if it was.
Oh, my God. You had me for a second, and I was
All
like,
right.
please, dear God, no.
Next one. Mm-hmm. The Billionaire Werewolf.
The Billionaire Werewolf? That's a Sybil title. Please.
That is a real title. This is The Billionaire Werewolf. And then in parentheses, a paranormal BBW shifter romance. You're not doing the best here, Matt. Well, we've got 1 out of 3. We got to figure out a prize if you win. I have 8 for you.
I have okay. What is a winning score?
I'm gonna say 4 out of 8.
4 out of 8.
No, that should be. You should at least get 5 out of 8 because that beats the odds.
5 out of 8. Okay, I'm already like shooting poorly.
All right, next one.
Okay.
My Good Puppy.
You can't say these titles while you just stare unblinkingly at me with the most shit-eating grin.
My
This is
Good Puppy.
awful. Please. Real.
Eat shit, that's me.
Fuck you. I was waiting for the twist of, oh, they're all real, and they just keep getting more and more absurd.
Yeah,
Fuck
that would
you.
be good. I almost did that because I have so many real ones.
That's so funny. That
However,
would have been...
You would have
yeah.
caught on. You would have caught on. So
Like,
now you're 1
yeah.
out of 4.
Okay.
Next up, Thrown to the Werewolves.
That's real.
Yeah, and I love that.
That's
title.
100%
That's so
real.
nice.
Thrown to the werewolves.
Yeah.
They're okay. That's so obvious because there are so many shit posts on Instagram and Tumblr and Twitter where it's like, throw me to the wolves and I'll come back pregnant or something like that. It's so wretched. What do you mean? It's so wretched.
Oh my God.
It is awful. It's so like,
See, the thing is, like,
yeah.
I sort of wished I was better at social media my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I really just don't connect with it too often.
I unfortunately am chronically online, and I just find so many shit posts, and it actually genuinely amuses me so much.
Like, Instagram now, like, there's so many, like, ads and things that aren't, like, my friends or things that I want that it's out. I used to be on Twitter fairly regularly, and I had a great time with that. I followed, like, comic artists, and it was just pretty great, and I loved that it was more reading, and it was, like, following based. And then they started doing, like, here's a recommendation, and then Elon Musk bought it, and I went, I'm fucking out, fuck off. And then the same as I kind of got on TikTok for a while, and I was really enjoying that. Sometimes the algorithm was real good, sometimes it was shit. And then there was the message like, oh, we're canceling TikTok. And then, oh, thank you, Trump. We brought it back. And I went, fuck off. I'm out of here. And so now I don't do anything. And every once in a while, I'll try and get into Instagram. It's shit. I hate it so much.
Yeah, every single one of those that you've mentioned, I've kind of gone down like the pooper just a little bit. There are like golden days of sometimes I'll get on and I'll be like, oh, here's a wonderful artist that I follow doing something awesome. Here's an artist that I don't follow yet on my Explore page that I am now following because that's awesome. Thank you, Explore page, for recommending me that. And then there's stuff like what I just said of just 1.5 billion shit posts of whatever comes up, frankly. And it's not helped by all of the fools in my DMs sending me the most rancid, wretched, horrid posts that they can possibly send me, which do get a laugh out of me very, very often.
Next title. Bad werewolves get the pen.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Bad werewolves get the pen.
That's a you title.
Yeah, it's a me title.
Yeah, that's a you
Bad
title.
werewolves get
Yeah.
the pen. So what's that, 3 out of 6?
Yes.
Hey, you're on even
I think
odds
so.
now.
I hope so. Okay, 3 out of
All
6.
right.
Okay, I need to get these 2 right in a row. Oh boy. Okay, go.
Werewolves and curvy girls.
Girl, you cannot do this to me. Werewolves and curvy girls?
Werewolves and curvy girls.
No, please. This literally could be either. Oh, man. Well, this is a shot in the dark, and if I guess wrong, I lose this game, but I'm going to say that's a you title.
It's not a me title.
Fuck you.
That is in the same series, though, of a paranormal BBW shifter romance. All right. Okay, here we go. I can do more to sort of redeem you. I do have extra.
Okay, cool. Okay, what is the 8th one? I want to see what I get out of 8.
Okay, so yeah, that was 7.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Bite Me, Furball.
That's you. That's a you title. Please tell me that's a you title.
All right, that's me.
Yeah.
I like that one. Okay, you want to play to 10, see if you can fix it?
Yeah, okay. I'll go 10, because I'm at 4 and 4 right now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, next up. I got to decide whether I'm doing real or not.
Mm-hmm.
Werewolf Fuck Book.
Oh my God. That's real.
That's me, baby.
That's you.
Yeah.
Fuck
Werewolf
off.
Fuck Book.
What is Werewolf Fuck Book? What?
I don't know, but you said it was real.
When you came up with that name, what were you thinking in your head?
I was thinking that some of these titles are so insane that I'd like something.
Werewolf Fuck Book?
Yeah, Werewolf Fuck Book.
That just sounds like a really weird spin-off of Death Note.
That's good. I like that. We should film it.
Like it's the same concept of Death Note, but instead
surely someone's done like Fuck Note. Like that's got to be some like porn comic.
Probably that probably does exist or something like that. But like Werewolf Fuck Book, that's just like the same concept of a Death Note, but anybody you write in it turns into a werewolf and just gets extremely fucking horny.
It's both. It's a Werewolf Fuck Book. All right.
That's it. I'm putting your name in the Werewolf Fuck Book. Good luck tonight, Fleabag.
Okay, so what's that one?
9.
Okay.
I mean, that was 9. I've got
failed.
5 wrong, 4 correct. So the best I can go is even.
Eric the Ass Destroyer.
No fucking way. That's real.
Yeah, it's real, baby.
Yeah.
That's so real.
Yep.
However, that's a Skyrim fantasy. So there's werewolf. It was under the tag of werewolf sex.
Oh my God.
But.
Uh-huh.
But, it's Skyrim.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear some more real titles?
Sure, why not?
Whoever said every cloud had a silver lining obviously never endured slavery. God. See, I knew I couldn't do that one because I can't say it with a straight face, and I couldn't have come up with that.
Oh my God, I need to just breathe off my...
Oh, okay. All right, next one.
Yep.
All knotted up. So do you remember...
No, I'm fine.
What episode was it that I talked about the twisted knot? Because I've seen in the titles of Werewolf Born this concept of a knot coming up.
Why?
And I don't know what the knot is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, next title. Learning to not be a knotted. A knothead, sorry. Both of those are not, as in like tying a knot.
Surely there is something going on here that if we have a werewolf podcast, we should know what that is.
We 100% should, and I'm sure we'll get to it when we bring on some werewolf smut.
Mm-hmm.
However, at the moment, I'm not in the mood.
That's very fair.
Like, what would the knot be? Where?
I'm gonna just put it in my note. I don't have a pencil. Do you have a pencil over there? I'm gonna write it down. It's gonna be my outside research.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
That's not what I meant. I mean,
what did you mean? Elaborate, Matthew.
I meant I'm going to go figure it out for when it becomes relevant. That was not an innuendo or like a double. Why'd you throw it at me? There was such a high chance I dropped that.
Yeah, you're not good.
I'm not. I have no hand-eye coordination. We should talk about Underworld.
Yeah, anyways, last title, Tales of Tales.
That's a good one.
I like that one.
That's a really good one.
That's one I could have come up with.
I do like that one.
I see. Like when I was thinking, I knew I wasn't going to be the best at coming up with fake titles, but surprisingly, I got you. You didn't win. You got a lower batting average than if you were just guessing.
I did. You had some really good titles, and also the makeup of the real titles blended very well with your fake ones.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I don't think that's something that you need to appreciate.
I
having
did a good job.
good smut titles. Well, I guess you could appreciate that.
Tell me I'm a good girl.
So Underworld is a 2000.
Go into your synopsis. Go on.
Underworld is a 2003 action horror, dark fantasy, dark modern kind of movie with werewolves versus vampires in this ancient feud with Kate Beckinsale and Scott Speedman and Bill Nighy and a bunch of other like really, really good casting. And they duke it out for the entire movie. I don't think there's any moment that's not action or something relating to the action. Even like the slower moments are very, very upbeat and very full of charge and tension. You are on the edge of your seat the entire time, even if nothing is really happening in terms of action. And I genuinely really liked it. This is my first time seeing the movie.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Can you finish the plot synopsis, though?
What more?
What's the plot about?
The plot is...
You just said vampires fight werewolves, man. What's the plot?
What is the plot?
What's the plot?
The plot of this movie is the two clans are fighting. They are waging this war, and it all comes to a head when there's the discovery of Michael Corvin, who is a great descendant of this original family bloodline that can host both the werewolf side and the vampire side. And both sides are kind of fighting over him in modern day. Most of the vampires want him dead for the abomination that he could become, while the werewolves want to utilize him to finally get this edge on the vampires that they have been fighting for so long and have kind of been under the boot of for so long. And that's where our story picks up. We follow our main character, Celine, played by Kate Beckinsale, as she navigates... Yeah?
Go on.
Played by Kate Beckinsale as she... Stop! We'll get into that.
Leather coats.
As she tries to navigate the very complex social and hierarchical establishment that the vampires have against the Lycans and trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong in this series of betrayals and secrets on both sides of this war.
Yay, good job, Matt.
Thanks.
It was good. So yes, Underworld, been a fan of it for a very long time. I've actually never gotten through any of the sequels. So we are going to have a great time on this podcast.
Oh, yes, we are.
Exploring those. Those are going to be great. I was so pumped to see your reaction and your opinion and whether you would enjoy it, because as we were sitting down with the with another episode, we were talking about perfect werewolf movies, what kind of werewolf movie we would create, and you specifically talked about vampires versus werewolves. Yeah. And you're like building on like, oh, they've been fighting for so long. And I can tell you like fantasy. You like those fantastical elements. You like that history. You like that lore in a really, really intense way. And this story is non-stop lore. In fact, it drops you right in the middle into this like clashing between the vampires and the things. It's got you figuring out so many different mysteries and twists and turns, and it gives you no information at the start, to the point where you're like the annoying girlfriend being like, who's that? To me on the couch, and I'm like, don't worry, he'll show up. And
I was exactly like that at every single turn, and usually I'm not. I honestly thought I was just missing context.
But you were not. It is a very like oddly unfolding world, and even then it's like the world is clearly like built up, and it doesn't show you all of it in the similar way of like any sort of history that you're going to stumble upon, where it's like, oh, and then Amelia's going to get killed. And you're like, who the fuck is Amelia? And it's like, she's a head vampire from a different coven. And it's like, oh, who the fuck is Martin? Or what was his name? Walter? Marcus, that's it. Who we're supposed to be afraid of at the end. And it's like, this is just another guy in the ground? It really does not give us the most information, but it's a very fun way to see it playing out.
I do agree with all of that. I wish they had gone even further with it. I wish there was even more differentiation between the Lycans and the vampires, and even more into the history. And we get
you just wait, my boy.
I assume it's going to be expanded
on. There's 4 movies, there's novels, there's comic book expansions. Like, this is a huge story we're embarking upon. And it is a 2-hour and 12-minute movie, right? Like, that is really insane for this type of movie. What do you think?
Yeah, it honestly didn't even feel like 2.5 hours. I was a little bit not engaged at the start, because it did kind of throw you into the deep end with nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, the movie opens with, the werewolf Lucius was killed hundreds of years ago.
Lucian.
Right, Lucian, jeez. The werewolf Lucian was killed hundreds of years ago, and the war continues. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And we jump into 2 people spying on 2 more people down on the street, and the 2 first people are just sitting in towers for some reason, and the 2 people on the ground seem to be following another person, and then they just have a shootout in a train station, and it's so action-packed, but I was like, what is going on right now? Who am I rooting for? Who am I following? What's going on? A random lady just got shot, and a random lady does just get shot.
I mean, that happens. And then you get to see Michael as like a nurse kind of person,
yes.
Right? He's got some medical training. I believe he's an intern at the hospital.
Yes, or some kind of like grad student, something like that. It makes him very much seem like he's entry level.
Yeah. And he goes to help this woman, and he's a very brave man. It's very nice. And the story unfolds with so many bullets. There are so many bullets fired nonstop, which is really not usually the tone of a vampire versus werewolf movie.
No, not at all. And I will talk about that, or maybe I can talk about it now. I'm surprised by how many guns there were in this movie, because, and admittedly, it did say right off the bat that not all Lycans can transform all the time. Some Lycans are strong enough where they can have a transformation whenever they want, and they don't have to rely on the full moon.
Yeah, and that's based on age.
Yes.
Right.
But so many Lycans and vampires were just slinging guns all the time, to the point where I got really... This is why I talked about, I wish there had been even more differentiation, because by the end, when there is this big war, and it's so cool, the battle underground in the sewers with chains from the ceiling, and so many different, like, theaters of this battle, it was awesome. But I can't tell who's who. Everyone is kind of dressed the same, and everyone has guns. And there are some Lycan who have transformed, and now they are these phenomenal-looking werewolves.
So good. Absolutely
incredible design. But that's really all the differentiation we have. I don't even think most of the vampires do anything vampire-y, except for kind of like hiss with their teeth out.
Yeah, I mean, they got the teeth, they're hissing, but you kill a werewolf with the silver bullet is the thing. So for that, I can 100% accept. The werewolves, in the beginning, it reveals they've got this technology. Hi, Justin, you're on the podcast.
Oh boy. Oh, darn.
What do you think of Underworld 2003?
Never seen it.
Are you shitting me, my man? This is your first appearance, and you're looking like a fool.
Apologies, viewers. I'm a fraud. I'm nothing but.
They're listeners, Justin. They're listeners.
And
All right,
so
back to
we get
it.
to crucify Justin whenever we get him on the pod.
Amazing. Great. So, the werewolves have these bullets that have ultraviolet light compressed. So it's just like nonstop sunlight, a boom. And so when it shoots a vampire, it does some major damage, which is really fun. And there's so much sort of being added. What I do think, some of the gunfights, I'm not a huge gunfight person. A lot of times, there's very few films that captivate me with gunfights, but the way that it sort of goes about and differentiates it towards the progression of the film, I really like. You have towards the end a vampire pulling out 2 silver whips to fight a werewolf. Amazing. Bill Nighy pulls out a sword. Awesome.
That's what I wish we got more of. I would have loved, like, when that vampire pulled out 2 silver whips. That's genuinely such a fun moment. Give me more of the vampires with swords and whips and, like, a flail. I don't care. Give me stuff like that fighting against the Lycans, who maybe if they don't have, like, a full transformation, maybe some of the Lycans are you familiar with shifters in D&D?
Nope.
So it's a race that they mostly look like humans, but occasionally they can force a transformation where they become more animalistic. Like their claws get longer, their teeth get bigger. It's like a halfway in between a full werewolf and a human. And I feel like that could have been really cool, of just like longer claws, maybe a little bit more hair, sharper teeth to go and fight the vampires instead of everyone kind of in this kind of punk-ish militia type garb shooting guns at each other. It's super rad.
It's
It
Matrix.
is so Matrix, and it's really, really fun. It's just so bad for the differentiation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did very nice with the differentiations of sort of culture and sort of like looking into their bases. I loved a lot of that. I do get bored with gunfights sometimes, but I mean, what I think is really cool is the way they sort of look at technology in this film, where like the mythos is not that anyone here is new, right? People are immortal. They have been around for hundreds of years. I've written down specifically with werewolves, it's 600 years since quote unquote Lucian's death. Even though he didn't actually die, we come to find out in the film. There's a lot of sort of complicated history with the fact that I was watching it. This is my 3rd time. I watched it once as a kid, so I didn't catch everything. Watched it once, probably wasn't giving it my full attention. It was really interesting to sit down and be like, I know exactly what the basic story is, these beats, but I really can't piece together everything. So let me try and get more of this lore and this history down. And so these werewolves have been around for so long. The vampires have been around for so long. They have these tight rules, this covenant that they can't break. And what I think is very interesting is the technology goes with them. Of course they're going to use technology. The vampires, I don't think there's any situation where they're not going to be using guns in this, because you got to kill a werewolf with a silver bullet. And of course, you're going to have a lot of fucking silver bullets to put them in there. And it... obviously, right, huge influence from The Matrix. So much bam, 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 gun, gun, gun. Got the trench coats exactly like The Matrix. What I love is also the werewolf technology of chemistry, of like, how do we figure out that they sedate Michael at one point while he's turning into a werewolf. It's like something was in that. I don't know what that was, but they sedate him successfully, keep him from transforming into a werewolf for a little bit. They are combining the vampire and werewolf mixes. They're doing genetics to try and find what type of cell is actually going to be a carrier that can mix these two bloodlines. It is pretty wild, and I like the development of it.
Absolutely agree with that take. The technology, and it very much almost like near futuristic technology for some of it, is so fascinating to see, and such a breath of fresh air compared to even like Van Helsing, which has slightly anachronistic technology with
It's very,
the
like,
infinite
steampunky
crossbow.
with it.
Yes. Like, that's fun, but it's still very much set in like the medieval, the Dark Ages, it's not actually the Dark Ages, it's much later, but you understand what I mean.
Yeah, it's 2003.
This
Oh, you're talking Van Helsing?
Yeah, Van Helsing.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah.
You're okay.
It's set in
The
1778? No, 1886.
No. It's the late 1800s. That's like not the Dark Ages, obviously.
No, it's 1888. That was it.
Yeah. But it's
Matt's mad at me because I don't have a professional podcast studio.
no. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at whatever douche canoe is outside revving the fuck out of their engine.
Oh, that's my buddy Douche Canoe.
I'm gonna shove a canoe up hit anyway.
It would be hard to make a douche canoe. They aren't similar shapes.
I don't even know what thought I was on now.
Something about the technology? Oh, Van Helsing?
Oh, right. Van Helsing is still set in a past era. It is still different from our modern day. Seeing all of this take place in a very urban city with very urban, almost brutalist looks to them, especially once you get into the underground sewer areas where the lichens are really operating out of. So very modern, postmodern. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a
stuff.
very different take. And I like, it's the same idea of like, if they have hundreds of years, they live forever, they don't got to worry about food or necessarily outside work. Of course, they're going to develop these technologies. And none of the technologies are necessarily absurd in any way. So the ultraviolet bullets, yeah, I can easily believe that there's some way to sort of do that. Silver nitrate bullets, silver bullets, super fun, super crazy variety. Not much else to say on that topic. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I think we thoroughly covered that, and the enjoyment of it definitely added so much to the aesthetic of the movie.
So walk me through, what was your sort of reaction and journey as you were watching this movie? Were you more engaged later on? Did you really get hooked at some point?
I definitely got more engaged in it the more it got in depth into just how corrupt the hierarchy of the vampires is and how many levels of lies and deceit there are. The first real thing is we learn, oh, Lucien's alive. He didn't die. That's the first thing we hear in the movie, is that Lucien was killed hundreds of years ago. And now we have the reveal, Lucien's alive and he is leading this pack of lichens, the biggest pack of lichens in decades, against like the main vampire stronghold, the vampire mansion. We see the mansion a bunch of times. There's probably 100 vampires, if not more, in there.
There's a ton of
Definitely
vampires. It's where
more.
they all live. They come hang out.
And right from the get-go, they're treated like these are the villains. They want to bring down vampire society, so vampires need to fight back against them. And slowly, that gets deconstructed with one of the leading vampires, Craven, actually working with Lucien the Lichen to... I can't remember exactly why they were working together.
So they worked together. One, it allowed Lucien to live. And then it gave Craven, like, he went back with a patch of Lucien's skin to say, I killed Lucien.
That's what it was.
Yeah, which allowed him to ascend in the rankings of vampirehood, which is why he was, like, in main command for a lot of the movie while Victor was asleep.
Yes. And seeing all of his authority, and we are introduced to Craven as the authority figure in the mansion. He's surrounded by his own little pack, his little vanguard that eventually goes with him into the tunnels later in the movie. And to have that deconstructed, especially when Victor comes into play, like the big... I was going to say big bad of the movie, and he is kind of the big bad of the movie. comes back to life, gets blood back into his system after hibernating for a while.
But even that, it's a weird sort of balance of like who the villain is necessarily in the movie. Because like, yeah, fuck Craven, but also fuck this guy, fuck Victor. But also, you know, Lucien is wronged and he's getting vengeance. He still wants to kill a bunch of vampires. Like, he's killing people a lot of the time. You definitely get the vibe that when this war was waging on, it's a war. It's not about, like, oh, just let me survive. Both sides are like, I would like to exterminate the other. The vampires get the upper hand, and they started with the upper hand because it's revealed in history that Lycans used to be like slaves for the vampires. And it all sort of started when Lucien was rebelling. But there's no like good people. It's just sort of about this machine that is built up, this dangerous sort of governance.
Very much so. This is a movie where I'm very comfortable saying that there are no good guys at all. Except maybe Michael.
What about Kate?
I guess so.
I should say Celine.
Celine. She still operates as a death dealer. She, even at the very end, once she has learned all these things, she's still just killing Lycans all over the place. Like, doesn't even give them a chance to be like, oh, I'm not gonna hurt you. I know what's going on. I know all the secrets.
Of course no one's gonna... They don't.
Yeah.
There's no like sort of chance of that.
Obviously.
And that's the thing is they're about to be hunted in following movies. There's gonna be a lot of bloodbath with regards to... or just bloodbath happening all over. So many people are just these like pawns in it, and you don't look at any of those individual werewolves and you're like, oh, this is their story. And Celine is going with this, oh, werewolves killed my family when I was a kid, so I'm getting revenge. And through the story sort of learns to step back and be like, oh no, I've been fed like this propaganda and lies my entire life. But yeah, not exactly good.
Yeah. Thus, Celine gets the pass of, you're the protagonist, we're following your story, we see your story unfold, and like you're unpacking all the lies that you have lived and everything you've been fed for your entire vampire life. I would still argue the only like truly innocent person in all of this is Michael. Mm-hmm. He's just doing his own thing. He gets kidnapped off the street like 3 times in a row in 3
he's important. He's got good blood.
He is important. And he gets roped up into all of it. He immediately, like a half hour, probably not even a half hour into the movie, gets turned into a Lycan. Mm-hmm. Lucien bites him the first time they meet, immediately a Lycan, and eventually gets the vampire half much later when Celine bites him.
Yeah, awesome.
And it is really awesome. I think I'm going to segue into the practical effects of the movie.
Oh, I wanted to talk about the romance of
Go ahead.
Celine and Michael first.
You talk about that, and then I'll talk about the effects.
Well, I just love to sort of talk about this. Because one thing going into this is, like, you got the main character, Celine. She is in skin-tight latex, a leather jacket, a corset, heels, right? Little platforms, and it is so erotic. But it's this fear sometimes of re-examining these things that were shown to me as a kid, of like, oh no, this is really creepy. Like, before I even had any sort of like sexual eye, like these things that are over sexual and the male gaze towards women. I will say, I didn't really get that sense with this. Celine is really just badass throughout this entire movie in a very similar sort of like style to Neo in The Matrix, where you're just like, rock on, kick some ass, she punches a guy in the face. Yes, like Craven is sort of like going after her, but it's not shown as like, well, come on, like she's so hot. It's like, fuck this creep, this weirdo who wants something that he can't get. She should be able to make her own decision. And then the development of the relationship with Michael, I worried because it sort of starts with, oh, he saved my life, right? I was stabbed by Lucian. He's a nurse. Like, I was bleeding out, and he helped actually stop it. Granted, I've saved his life, but there's this sense of, like, ode to him that isn't the best foundation for a relationship. I'd like to know what you think.
I will agree that it's not entirely the best foundation, but I also think it evolves in a good way because at the beginning, when we have the kind of relationship of, oh, I owe you for saving my life, it almost seems very disingenuous. It doesn't seem, or at least from on Celine's side, it seems like there's some kind of like, there's an appreciation of, oh, thank you for doing that. But it never seems like there's a genuine like, oh, I'm attracted to you.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a romance.
Yes, it seems like, oh, you're like a good ally. You are a good companion to have in this upcoming battle.
Or even like, you know, he saved my life. I should at least make sure that he doesn't get torn apart.
Exactly.
Immediately.
It feels, instead of immediately jumping into, like, there are so many movies, there are so many pieces of media where it immediately jumps into, we've placed these two people in close proximity right at the beginning, and they will instantly smooch.
Yeah, and I mean, like, war and battle and all that, right? Hard circumstances form relationships. Like, you know, in a horror movie, anytime like there's a relationship, even if it's like high school, it's like, I want to believe it's true love just because you're undergoing hardship. And the first time that Celine and Michael like kiss in the movie, it's a ploy by Celine to lock him in a cuff.
Yes, it is.
To keep him from going anywhere as he's about to transform into a werewolf. And she's like, all right, I'll keep you alive. I'll give you a little kiss. Yeah, you're attractive, sure. And he's pretty attractive. He's no Kate Beckinsale, but he's pretty attractive.
And I do think at the end of the day, as much as that's like a little bit of like a sexualized bit of, oh, look, they're going to have a little sensual kiss, it's practical.
Look, I'd
it's
kiss
pragmatic.
you putting cups. Fuck. Look, I'd kiss Kid Badoop.
Yeah, you got that.
Hip.
Yep.
You're gonna hodna again.
Anyways, it seems...
Look, I'd kiss you to put you in cuffs.
Oh my god. Yeah, thank you for finishing that. Anyways, all of it just seems kind of like she is doing it for her own sake, because admittedly this is war, and all's fair in war right now. She's taking every single advantage she can.
Wow, okay, you just said that.
What?
All's fair in war? Wow.
No.
We see your opinion.
In the context of the movie.
Wow.
In the context of the movie. The movie actually does have a lot of, like, looks into authoritarianism and mild fascism. Actually, it's not even mild. It's pretty overt.
Intense, yeah.
It's pretty overt
pretty
fascism in trying to wipe out an entire other group because they are some kind of inferior or not the same, and it gets...
Yeah, even to the point of like the hybrid of like the abomination. And it's like,
yes,
what? Like they're trying to do is like mix two bloodlines. And it's this very sort of fascist view from the vampires.
Very, very fast. To the point where even at the end, if you notice, most of like the vampire grunts are kind of just wearing what they've worn the entire time of, oh, we're going to wear this kind of like this tactical gear, or maybe like a jacket or so. But Victor and his vanguard look like elite SS soldiers.
Oh yeah, they're fancy.
With the big buttoned trench coats and everything. And he's got the big emblazoned red trench coat.
And they kind of like semi-Dracula collar.
Yes, it looks like a dictator and his elite soldiers. It's so fascist, and all of them get their shit kicked in, which is so satisfying to watch.
It is so good.
So satisfying.
And this relationship deepens. It's an interesting thing. When the battle like ended and all that, like I remember the relationship deepening. I don't remember like how it went in the earlier times I viewed it. And it's such an interesting thing because they win. She saves Michael's life. He's about to die. He's been hit by this silver nitrate bullet. And it's like, oh, the way to save him is to make him a hybrid, a half vampire, half werewolf. And she does so. He gets this like dark skin and these fangs, and then like a very tiny, like maybe like snout. And then when all's said and done, they beat Bill Nighy. They beat Victor, the evil head vampire. There's not like a celebration kiss, which is something that I'm like, rock on. Like, it's just like, they like each other, but it's not necessarily like this intense, like, oh, we're so in love. It's like, okay, maybe this is the start of a relationship. Like, I certainly like appreciate this person. I was really surprised and I really liked it this time.
It was so refreshing when that happened. I was fully expecting some cheesy, like, because they were even in like the perfect quote unquote setting for it of the empty battlefield. They're standing in the water. There's light shining down on them from the sewer grates above. And I was like, they're gonna fucking kiss, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And then they didn't. Yeah. They like regarded each other like comrades in battle of, yeah, we're alive. We won that battle, but that sucked. Mm-hmm. That was awful.
Yeah,
that was like a brutal grudge match that has left so many dead in our wake. This is a time for solemn reflection, and that's the very end of the movie.
Or even just like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, just leaving this battlefield behind, which is, for like this kind of movie coming out of this era, incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. And I even think about so many times when you have like a female heroine or a hero in any sort of story, it'll be like, yeah, but the guy helps out way more than normal. Like, it's always like, oh yeah, and her side partner really does a lot, or he saves her finally. And yeah, that trope happens sometimes in the other case where you have a hero and it's like, oh, if it wasn't for Lois Lane doing this, Superman would have been dead. And yeah, that happens from time to time. It happens so much more when you have a female heroine. And I was sitting and I was worried again, and I was like, oh yeah, because it's Michael becoming the half human, half vampire, or half werewolf, half vampire. Like, that's so important. He's more powerful than anyone combined. Even then, it's Celine landing the fucking killing blow. And what a killing blow!
And multiple killing blows at that. She's the one that takes out all of Victor's elite soldiers too. Mm-hmm. Like, wipes the floor with them.
Yeah, they're shooting at Michael all at once, and she's like, bam, bam, bam. And then with Bill, like, she's with Victor, he has lied to her, told her that the Lycans were the ones who had killed her parents and her family. And I think it was like her cousins, very like young.
Yes.
In her like backstory, her tragic backstory, and she uses his sword to cut his fucking head in half in a moment that is just like the samurai like open sword, closed sword.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Of like, haha, you didn't even move. But then slowly the crack appears and they've cut in half, and it's amazing.
And to watch, because you don't see the sword dirty yet. And he stands up and he's kind of like, he's a little bit disoriented, but he's
like, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, but he's immediately getting into like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And she just comes out of the shadows a little bit, and the blood starts dripping down the sword, and it's like, oh, that didn't miss. That hit perfect. And just the entire slit in the face as it slides. Awesome. And it's, like you said, she comes in and she is the one that deals every single final blow. As much as Michael was hyped up to be like this super combination of both, it's very clear this man has not fought a day in his life. He kind of seems more like the distraction that Victor can wail on for so long and not really get anywhere.
And I mean, like, he's really fast is like the whole thing.
He's stupid fast.
He's fast, he's super strong, but it's this balance where they're much more of a duo than you would sort of expect.
Exactly.
And it just is a very nice dynamic.
Yeah.
Which, that slicing in the head, I wanted to bring up practical effects in this film.
Finally.
I had this wonderful idea for it. I was like, let's talk about the practical effects, because they are amazing.
They're so good. I could gush about every single practical effect. Even the digital effects for 2003 were phenomenal.
Yeah, one thing that really came to mind, like in that realm of practical effects, you can gush about your gushers, but with the practical effects, like the werewolves look fantastic. They have these enormous heads. They are so bestial, almost like lions in a sense.
Yes.
And they like tear apart. But the thing about them is you can see in like the scenes where you have these werewolves that the actors clearly have a shit ton of stuff on top of them. They are huge. This is heavy and they won't move fast. And they combine it with these like other scenes of like using CGI to be like, oh, they hop in really quick. These werewolves can move fast. They can attack fast. And the like clipping between both is connected in a pretty cohesive manner. Like it goes together very well, and you get a sense that these things are crazy powerful and crazy fast.
I think a lot of the power comes from both with the practical and the CGI. They feel heavy. There's weight behind them. Like you were talking about, there is so much stuff on this actor right now for the suit. You can tell, but it makes every swing feel heavier. It makes every, like, you... Obviously, there's not real muscle behind it because it's a suit, but it feels like there's real muscle coming down from the swings, that there's real muscles clamping these jaws shut as they snap towards someone. And even with the CGI, when the werewolves, because they're very acrobatic, they are bouncing around everywhere. Where they bounce, they like crack the stone that they land on.
Great.
It's so well done. It feels like these monsters are just... they have so much impact to them that so many other... I mean, we'll go back to... I'll use Van Helsing as a reference. That werewolf is... in just the broadest sense, bigger. When Van Helsing turns into a werewolf, he's like 10 feet tall, fucking 7.5 feet wide. He literally looks like a bodybuilder covered in fur. He's massive. But he and Dracula kind of just bounce around everywhere without really feeling the weight, because it's just a big CGI thing, and they crash into things and things go flying. But that's fine. If you throw a person into that same exact thing, things are also going to go flying and crash everywhere. If a person jumps down from a wall, they're not going to leave a crater. And seeing that in even like there's one scene where it's cutting away from a major battle to go focus on our main characters, but even in that like 4 seconds of that battle, you can see a werewolf like grab a pipe and swing and crush a vampire. Oh, it's so satisfying. That's what I'm saying. The battles look amazing, even if they are just firefights. A lot of them are firefights. I would have loved to see more battles like that of werewolves throwing around vampires, using their weight, because they have that against them.
I think so much of the action is done well. Like if you were more into firefights, I think the firefights are done well in a very sort of like exciting way. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but so much of the film, fantastic with that action. The settings of things, you can talk about how amazing the brutalist architecture is, like being in the city, being in the sewers. It's also, you have like the vampire's mansion, and it's so gothic, and it's exactly like it's a Spirit Halloween decorated kind of thing, but with like the legit items where, the blood red is used beautifully. The set dressing is fantastic, opulent. There's this dinner happening in the beginning where they're pouring blood, and you can see how viscous it is into these wine glasses. And it's just like they're living in this like luxury. Everyone is gothic, and they enjoy being this gothic thing. And then you have the you have the werewolves. And then you have the werewolves who have their like thicker coats, and they're more brutish, and they're living in the sewers, and they're just like sort of vicious, and they're like, it's all about like toughness and
I mean, right from the start, one of the first scenes that we see with the werewolves interacting is like this fight pit between two of the werewolves just duking it out, and all the other lichens that aren't transformed around them are like shouting and barking and egging them on. It's such a different experience to the very like solemn, put together, straight up, well organized vampires. Just visually, the cultures are so distinct. And I love that the cultures outside of battle are so distinct. It's just such a pleasure to see. And not have explained like somebody coming on stage like, oh yeah, the werewolves, they're so brutish, they would never fit into our lavish lifestyle. Thank God there's none of that. Yeah, I think we have been talking about this movie for a very long time.
There's just so much I want to talk about.
There is so much to talk about. We
have been talking about it for so long. We are past where we should be for the episode, but my God, I feel like there's so much we haven't even like touched on.
I know.
Because it's a 2 hour and 12-minute thing. It is such a behemoth. I could bring in other topics that we would talk about in an episode. And I sort of feel a bit bad because we aren't the funniest in this episode. Because we just love...
Yeah.
We had a really good time watching it. And there is so much to sort of break down. But to have this fast story... that who knows, I don't know if they went in with a plan of like, we're going to make a bunch of films, we're going to make this sprawling universe. I don't know anyone who's ever been like, oh, the Underworld universe, fantastic. I barely know people who know about Underworld. This is your first time seeing it, right? Even then, you feel so much of this world, and there's still so much style. Like, there's enough to flesh out to make it feel like a real world, but there's so much style to then have it be so enjoyable in a similar way that, like, in Lord of the Rings, it's like sometimes it's a bit weird because they put so much work into it to make it feel like a history, or Tolkien did, that it's like, well, why would you talk about this for so long? And it's like, well, that's what happens in a history. Like, this is part of the history, and there are these complex things at play. And so I think it can tend to be getting lost, but if you sit down and you watch this movie with like a focus, there's a lot to enjoy, and I cannot wait to watch so many sequels with you, Matt.
I am so genuinely excited. And you were saying, like, I don't know anyone that's like, oh, the Underworld. I may become that person because this elated me. Genuinely, at the end of it, I wanted the 2 hours to keep going. So badly. So yes, I'm so excited for all of these sequels. However, for the time being, I do think we need to wrap up with our ratings.
Mm-hmm. I will say, there are 4 films, it looks like, in the Underworld film series. Just so you know.
What's the latest?
2016.
Okay. All right.
But I'm just surprised because I definitely watched this before 2016. Mm-hmm. So that, a film was coming out, like, as I was like, oh, cool, this is so awesome. I want to be Kate Beckinsale. That sort of thing. Matt?
Yeah?
How do we rate films?
So how we rate films, for anybody just tuning in, we are looking at how werewolfy is the werewolf. Does it abide by the typical werewolf lore? Is the story of the movie or show or comic or whatever piece of media it is, does it represent the werewolf story well? And I'm willing to give this movie some wiggle room upwards just because of how much I enjoyed it and how much I enjoyed this depiction of a werewolf.
Be careful. You be careful. People aren't going to trust your ability to rate things because this isn't about how much we enjoyed it.
That is true.
Look, you can tell me on the down low, how much did you enjoy this movie, Matthew?
Oh, I fucking loved it. If it was just enjoyment, I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. That was awesome.
That's so fantastic. I'm really glad.
That was so genuinely such a fun experience.
I was so worried of whether or not you would like it because I was listening to you talk before about like, oh, my perfect vampire or my perfect werewolf movie is werewolves versus vampires and like so much lore. And I'm like, I think you're just describing Underworld.
At the end of the day, I kind of was. In a very...
Yeah, you talked about it as like the vampires
way.
And werewolves were surviving something, right? The
Yes.
plot doesn't exactly line up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those key elements of what you enjoy, I felt like this was going to hit them all. And so I'm very glad to hear that I was spot fucking on.
Oh, yeah. However,
How close is it to Jurassic Park?
for reference, Jurassic Park is and probably will always be my favorite movie of all time.
And
since
mine
I was
is
a little
Citizen
kid.
Kane.
Okay, listen here, Citizen Kane. Shut up.
I haven't seen Citizen Kane.
Okay.
My favorite film is Labyrinth.
You have told me that. I was aware of that, actually.
I love that movie.
Good pick. Is Underworld close to Jurassic Park for me? No.
How far away?
I'm not sure how far away. It's high up there. This is a really fun movie.
I mean, you're saying 5 out of 5.
I love movie. Well, I give Jurassic Park like a 10 out of 5.
That's not...
I don't care. I don't care. I break math for that movie. I could watch that movie on end, like back to back, for 72 hours straight and still want to keep going. I love that fucking movie so much.
Man, I'm not sure if I should tell you. Your autism is showing, so you might want to, just in case you didn't want to show how autistic you are, just careful.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot to zip that up. I forgot to zip the autism up.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that thing's called your penis.
No, that's okay. All right. So, the rating for this movie, I'm going to go with a 4 because it hits a lot of the major, like, the vampire versus werewolf. The werewolves are allergic to silver. Like, having that right off the bat of they are allergic to it is really fun.
And I mean, like, even like they really like define their rules in such a nice way.
Yes.
Where they're like, silver will keep a werewolf from transforming, right? Silver, if left in them too long, will kill them.
Yes.
Right? That's the huge thing. Like, what it didn't really show us is, like, what do normal bullets do to these werewolves? Does it penetrate the hide? Is there damage done? I don't know. Is like that their only vulnerability? But it shows very clearly that, like, this is exactly what silver does to these werewolves. That's part of the thing. The way it builds up the lore, even, it answers the question of where do vampires and werewolves come from.
Very much so. On top of that, the transformations are awesome.
Oh, amazing.
The bones cracking, the muscles like... Oh, it's so good.
What I often think about, like, when I'm thinking of werewolf transformations, and more often when I'm trying to, like, draw it and be like, what do I actually want with it? Is like, how do you go from a face to a snout, right? How do you go from, like, a longer-haired person to then, like, a fur? And so what I often do in a lot of my werewolves is they have, like, basically normal hair, and then it's sort of, like, building upon that.
Yep.
And they do such a nice job where it's not even, a lot of them aren't that furry. It's about, like, the snout coming out, the skin darkening, tufts on the head. It does a nice werewolf.
Absolutely wonderful werewolf. Hence why I do want to give it a 4. I'm not going to give it a 5 because this isn't the perfect werewolf movie. It has a phenomenal depiction of werewolves that are central to the plot, but there really is no, like, very classic werewolf, the fight versus the beast within. There's a little bit with Michael.
I was gonna say, even like as he's infected, you do see he behaves quite differently.
Oh, totally.
Like, what I like is even those traits are getting, like, over to the human parts. Like, he's just a bit more aggressive. He's not trusting anyone. He's acting more violently, and trying to sort of control himself. So there is a bit of that, but no, that isn't the central sort of thesis.
It's not. It is. He's relegated to kind of like the background of, oh, this is happening with Michael. However, we're more concerned with the vampire politics right now. So we see it, and it's quite well done. It's just not the center focus.
Yeah.
Thus, I could be convinced to bump up to a 4.5, but I think I'm pretty solid with a 4.
Yeah, because I mean, even thinking, it has transformation at full moon. It explains, like, okay, we want them to transform more, so beings get more powerful with age, which is a trope that happens a lot, right? There aren't necessarily like set rules, and werewolves don't necessarily need to transform at the full moon. In the past, in history, they haven't always. Oh, it's so tough. I love them. There's so much power behind these werewolves. But I would say there is something, I think, missing in my idea of a perfect interpretation.
Agreed.
I remembered Michael's half vampire, half werewolf a bit differently. I remembered him having a slightly more pronounced snout and just ferocity.
I was surprised with how non-werewolf he looked.
I mean, like he had the certain like snarl on his face, but like it sort of caved in his ribs like around there.
Yeah, that was
because I guess Marilyn Manson. But like I often find that the werewolves that I really gravitate towards, a lot of them are more towards that human end, where like it's more about the snout, it's more about that halfway in between. I love these werewolves. I don't want to say it.
The absolute pain and just suffering on your face right now is...
Oh, gee, I don't know.
Go ahead, say it. For anybody not in the room, Sybil is wolfing out right now. Her feet have extended into paws. Her entire body is covered in fur. The snout is coming out in just pure rage.
Oh shit, I got ears.
You do. They've kind of fallen off.
But they're back now, baby.
They are back now. Welcome back. Okay, rate this movie.
4.5.
4.5? 4.5?
I think, the only thing that it's sort of missing... Like, I think this is just a different time of where a werewolf story is set. I think, vampires exist in so many werewolf stories, and they go well. This has so many of the elements. So many of the parts of a werewolf are shown. Oh.
I think the biggest downfall of this movie is that it seems like a really good depiction of a werewolf stuck in a primarily vampire movie. If the movie was more centered around the lichens, I feel like I would be more comfortable giving this a 4.5 or maybe even a 5.
Yeah, so true.
But it is more vampire focused, and all of the lichen stuff happens in tangent with whatever the vampires are doing. They're never
so
really
good.
It is so good. I would be willing to bump up to a 4.5. I cannot give it the 5.
I was just about to bump down to 4.
Fair. I think I do want to stay with my 4. I really like that. I think it is kind of perfect. If we were doing between, I would say 4.25, but we are not doing that. That is way too complex.
I'm going to say 4 as well. Mm-hmm. I think it really is. Like, this has a very fantastic version of a werewolf. Amazing. But it's not werewolf-centric, but it is such a fantastic vampire versus werewolf movie. A sort of one of the best examples, I think, of a vampire versus werewolf movie. And it's really just in that lack of focus on, like, the lichens for so much of it. And in a bit with like not exploring the actual story of a werewolf, of like that struggle or more like what their culture is. I think that's going to add, and I think I have to settle with a 4, which makes sense. That's the same as what I gave the Wolfman.
Yeah. I have an idea right now of what I think is going to be the 5 movie. We haven't given out a 5 yet, have we?
No,
we have not.
And if we both give a 5, then the Wolfbane has bloomed, baby.
Yeah. I mean, we'll still obviously have to keep going. There's so much.
No, but I'm just saying.
However, I have a very good idea in my head right now, thinking of everything, of what that 5 is.
When we say it, we'll probably start howling, and we'll both rip off our shirts.
Yeah. I mean, I do that regardless all the time. That's just a normal activity.
Just let me know if you think it's going to be that movie, because I will have to wear a bra.
Yeah. I will tell you right after we stop recording what it is.
I can probably guess.
Okay, go ahead and guess.
It's Fright Night. Fright Night.
Get away from me. All right, send us out
With
a haiku.
Celine is so hot. Thank you, my dummy mommy. Michael, you're cool too.